We have all felt that pressure of a never-ending to-do list where repetitive tasks just seem to eat up the entire day. We are looking at Google Workspace Studio today because it promises to act as a personal assistant that lives right inside your existing tools like Gmail and Docs. We wanted to see if this new platform really lives up to the hype of making automation accessible for everyone, regardless of their technical background. Moving right into the heart of the experience, the first thing we noticed when opening Google Workspace Studio is how approachable the interface feels for something so powerful. We can access the Discover page directly through a URL or by clicking the dedicated icon right within Gmail, which makes it feel like a natural extension of our workspace rather than a separate clunky software. The standout feature that we really need to talk about is the ability to create a flow simply by describing it. This is where Google's AI, Gemini, really shines, because you can literally type in a sentence like, "Notify me when my manager sends me an email," and the system interprets that intent to build a multi-step workflow for you. We found this incredibly intuitive because it removes the barrier of needing to know if-then logic or coding structures. You just say what you want, and the studio builds the skeleton of that automation in seconds. Once that flow is generated, we have the opportunity to jump into the flow editor to refine things. The layout is quite logical, with a left panel displaying the sequence of steps and a right panel dedicated to the specific settings for whichever step you have selected. The first step in any of these automations is what Google calls the starter. This is the trigger that kicks everything off, such as receiving a specific email or a calendar event reaching its start time. We spent some time looking at how consecutive steps work, and it is clear that the flexibility here is quite high. You can edit, delete, or reorder these actions to make sure the automation behaves exactly how you need it to. For instance, after the starter triggers, you might have an action that asks Gemini to summarize the email content, and then another step that sends that summary to you via a Google Chat message. This chain of events is what allows us to stop manually checking for updates and let the system push relevant info to us instead. Building on that idea of ease of use, we also explored the library of pre-built templates available on the Discover page. These are essentially out-of-the-box solutions for common problems that many of us face daily. Some of these templates are ready to go with just a click, while others might ask us to fill in a few specific details like a person's name or a specific folder path. What we found particularly useful in these templates is the use of variables. These act as placeholders that carry information from one step to the next. For example, if a starter detects an email, the variable can hold the sender's name or the body of the message, which is then passed to Gemini or a notification step. This ensures that the data stays consistent and relevant throughout the entire automated process. It's a smart way to handle dynamic information without making the setup process feel overwhelming or complicated for the average user. Now, for those of us who want a bit more under-the-hood control, we can choose to build a flow entirely from scratch. This approach gives us complete authority over every single action and trigger. When we started building from zero, we noticed a very helpful feature, a red warning dot that appears on any step that is missing required information. This prevents us from trying to run a broken flow and guides us exactly where we need to make adjustments. For example, if we add a notification step but forget to define what the actual message should say, that red dot stays there until we select a variable or type in the text. We also highly recommend naming these flows as soon as you start building them, so that your dashboard stays organized as your library of automations grows. To make sure everything is running smoothly before going live, Google has included a robust testing phase. When we tested our flows, we were impressed by the fact that the test run performs real actions. If your flow is designed to send a chat or modify a document, it will actually do those things during the test using real data from your inbox or drive. This is crucial because it allows us to see exactly how the final result will look to ourselves or to our teammates. Once the test run finishes successfully, there's a simple toggle to turn the flow on. From that moment, the automation is active and waiting for the trigger. We found that this gives a lot of peace of mind, knowing that the heavy lifting of monitoring our workspace is being handled in the background, allowing us to focus on the creative or strategic parts of our jobs that actually require our full attention. Finally, after spending significant time with Google Workspace Studio, we genuinely believe it is totally worth it for anyone looking to reclaim their time. If you are tired of doing the same tasks over and over, we highly recommend you head over to the Workspace Studio page and try building your first flow today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this.